Hello everyone, I'm attorney Catherine Henry, coming to you live from the Restore Freedom Mobile, and just wanted to give you a few things that I had noticed in the Supreme Court hearing on Wednesday that I didn't have a chance to necessarily share with you in the video update I did in the earlier part of the afternoon. So sorry, I see that the sun's kind of blinding you guys. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is something that I noticed about the attorney for the Attorney General's office. And they, awesome, thank you for the prayers, Roxanne. So at one point being questioned, the attorney for the Attorney General's office, I want to say it might have been when it was either Justice Clement or Justice Kavanaugh was questioning the attorney for the Attorney General's office, and I think her name might have been Ann Sherman. And so at one point they said something to her about the 177 orders that there had been. The one that was mentioning order number 177. As of Wednesday morning, there actually were 179 orders. My understanding is now there's more. I can't go on there every day. Don't desire to know that much about them, quite frankly. But it's the point was the judge or the justice was asking her about the 177 executive orders. And the response from the Attorney General's attorney literally was, well, I don't know, I can't speak to that one. There are so many of the executive orders, even I can't keep up with them anymore. What? You're going to say that on the record? I think that proves the point that these are not reasonable when even the attorney representing the Attorney General's office in the Michigan Supreme Court cannot keep up with how many executive orders are being issued by this governor. So anyway, the other update that I didn't end up mentioning in the video, because the update actually came afterwards, is about 4:57 p.m. the Michigan Supreme Court clerk emailed us to tell us that the Supreme Court is actually requesting that we brief 2 additional questions in relation to this. And really they relate to, if you were listening to the oral arguments, there was a lot of questioning as the hours developed about public safety and public health and which ones were, covered by which statutes. And again, for those of you who are listening, the justices made it very clear they know the governor's not just relying on the 1945 law. They know that the governor is relying on the 1976 law, the 1945 law, and a lot of the public health code. And so we started talking a lot about the public health code. So in fact, one of the things they want us to do is essentially define the public health, what public health is and how it overlaps, if any, with the public safety definition. So that brief will be due on Wednesday, September 16th. This is coming Wednesday already. And the a lot of people have been asking me, well, why are they stalling with that? What's up with that? I don't think it's a stall tactic. I think, first of all, the fact that they immediately, before the day was over, they emailed us to tell, the hearing started, we were on at 9 o'clock. I think they finally got the public feed working maybe about like 9:40 or something. And then we were on until 1:15 or 1:30. So that was a long time. And then within a matter of a few hours, they had progressed the discussion of the case enough to the point where they came up with a decision that they needed to get these 2 other issues briefed. And the email went out to us before 5 p.m. that very same day. So to me, that's not stalling. the fact that they also said, okay, you guys have essentially 1 week or less than 1 week, because that was the close of business on Wednesday. You have 1 week to get us this information. To me, that's phenomenal. To me, that is, in the world of attorneys and appellate cases and the amount of time you have to brief issues, that's extremely fast. So that is not stalling at all. Now, do I think answering those questions is relevant to the issue of whether she violated state law or whether these two laws are violating our state constitution? No, I don't believe that's relevant to the question at all, which is something I'll have to figure out how I will address in these briefs, or this brief. And then I also have a brief due in the legislature's lawsuit against the governor, because remember, Michael Williams, the attorney for the legislature, I think it was a week ago now, he did end up filing his appeal to the Michigan Supreme Court, asking them to take on that case. And so I will brief that, file a brief in that case as well. Trying to remember if there was anything else. I will give you about 5 minutes to answer any questions, because we haven't eaten dinner and we have some other errands we have to run. So let me see what some questions might be. Arresting her would be great. I don't see any questions yet, guys. I'm surprised. Is the legislature's case scheduled? The legislature's case is not scheduled. The legislature's case is actually, like I said, their brief, they just filed their brief. The governor, I don't have the court rules in front of me. The governor has, I believe, 56 days under normal court rules to file a response. I don't think they're going to take that long, because I think everybody wants this resolved. So, at any rate, the briefs are being filed. I will file a brief. The governor's brief is on its way. There's already one amicus brief that has been filed in the legislature's lawsuit against the governor, and it was in favor of the legislature, or in favor of freedom. I haven't read it yet, but it's the attorneys that filed the request to intervene in the legislature's case. Instead of trying to push that issue and intervene as a party, they're just filing a brief as amicus parties. So I've read a lot of their stuff, I just haven't read that brief. Okay, sorry, let me see. Okay, so anyway, their case will be scheduled later on once the briefs on that case come in a little bit better. A written brief and not an oral. So there's no oral argument scheduled for the 16th. It's just a brief. It'll be a written brief being submitted by everyone. If her executive orders are... That's interesting. If her executive orders are unconstitutional, why the public health code? I'm not sure what your question is there. If you reword it, I can try to answer that for you. What does your gut tell you? Do you think we will win? I think Richard Bernstein is, he's what I've been considering the judge on the fence. He's the one who, in denying the legislature's request to jump over the Court of Appeals in the first place, his opinion was very... It was just on the fence. I'll just put it that way. And his line of questioning was actually very good. For those of you who saw it, you heard him ask. He pointed out on the one hand, I believe he lives in Detroit, but he pointed out on the one hand that he knows several people personally. He was close with several people personally who have died from COVID-19. But on the other hand, he said, I live in an apartment building. If I just want to get fresh air, my apartment building is energy efficient. It doesn't open windows that high up, so I go outside and then I try to get fresh air. And basically at some point I find myself within 6 feet of another individual. And then if I'm not wearing a mask, then what, I'm guilty of a misdemeanor. And his line of questioning was very good about that. He actually had some other questions that he was asking, because I want to say that was actually the questions he was asking of the attorney for the Attorney General's office. But then his line of questioning for the attorney who was representing the governor and the director of the Department of Health and Human Services, those questions were great too. Really, there were good questions being asked by Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Clement. And normally, if you look at their opinions that have come out so far and other things, they're on the side of, not our side, but their questions that they were asking were actually very, I thought, very on point. And definitely Justice Markman, a few people have said that they didn't think his questions were very good, but I thought his questions were very good. I think he's very meticulous, and each thing was for a particular purpose that he was asking. And Justice Viviano, I think, was kind of hedging his bets a little bit at first and kind of asking a little bit, being a little bit careful about how he worded stuff, or, not trying to show his hand, so to speak. And once the governor's attorney just was dancing in circles and arguing and, being a little snippy, Justice Viviano started to kind of dish it back out to him a little bit and started to point out things like, well, basically you don't like the contract we wrote a few hundred years ago with the, that little document we now call the Constitution. You don't like all those provisions that we put in there. So I think that he was pointing out some very good things. And I think it's not that he wasn't wanting to do that right from the beginning. I think he was trying to just see where the conversation went to and how it developed. And Justice Viviano was listening to what I had said, because he pulled in some of the facts that I said in the beginning of my little 5 minutes that I got, and used that to question the governor's attorney. And I want to say it was Justice Clement or Justice Kavanaugh. I can't remember now which one. But anyway, one of those two that was using some of what I had said again at the beginning to question the Attorney General's attorney. So let's see so I don't know if we'll win. I feel good about it. I feel hopeful. I want you to have hope in how the hearing went with the Supreme Court on Wednesday. Absolutely have hope. Don't hold your breath, but have hope. And if we don't win there, my fight's not done. I hope your fight's not done, because I don't get my rights from the governor. I don't get my rights from the Attorney General. I don't get my rights from the legislature. I don't get my rights from the Michigan Supreme Court. I don't even get my rights from the United States Supreme Court. My rights were given to me by God, guaranteed to me by the U.S. and Michigan constitutions, and that's what I'm going to follow. So I hope the rest of you are going to feel that same way. Don't wait for the government to tell you it's okay to breathe fresh air, or that it's okay for you to follow the Constitution. That's our duty. That's our obligation, whether they're following it or not. So this will not be online. There won't be an oral argument on the 16th. It seems like there's a lot of support from both sides. Would you read them that way? I don't know. Like I just said, I really think the questioning from Justice Bernstein was good. I don't want to hold my breath over it, but I think it was good. If we win, what next? Well, in theory, that means that the Supreme Court has declared the governor's orders are unconstitutional and illegal, and everyone needs to realize we're done. We're not doing it anymore. If they're not resolved, will you fight to remove masks from kids? I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I'm just going to be blunt and say, hell yeah. I mean, I know that's not correct, and that's not really the Christian way to handle it, but if the question is, if executive orders are not resolved, will you fight to remove masks from kids? Hell yeah. I'm going to fight the mask issue all the way. I'm going to fight this mask issue all across our United States. I'm getting warmed up. I'm nowhere near done. We have God-given rights. We don't have state-given rights. We have God-given rights. And the right of our state to help control or help, protect us and do things for us. Oh shoot, you guys are going too quick. Oh shoot, I can't scroll. It's not, they're too quick. Can you see the questions? Oh my gosh. You guys, stop asking questions. They're going too fast. I can't even read them. Holy crap. On my phone, I can't scroll down. I literally see the top 3 questions or the most recent 3 questions. So anybody who has submitted questions, they're literally coming in so quick, I can't even read them. Okay, hold on. Do justices discuss their opinions or do they decide independently? I really do think that they discuss it. I think they discuss it absolutely. And I think definitely, because if you read the opinions that they come out, you'll have one justice who kind of has, their say, but then they each are referring to each other's opinions. There's a lot of back and forth that happens. I mean, they each have their own decisions, and so they're deciding whether they want to sign on to somebody else's opinion or not, and that's what makes it a majority opinion or a plurality opinion, where they have just enough to agree with the final outcome, but they don't have enough to agree with the wording of the actual opinion itself. That happens sometimes. We may have that in this situation. I really hope not. I think enough of them can agree that the 2 questions are simple. Did she violate state law after April 30th? Yes. Do those 2 statutes, the EPGA and the EMA, violate the separation of powers clause and the non-delegation clause of our state constitution? Yes. But regardless of what the court says about that, am I going to stop fighting for our freedom to breathe fresh air, our freedom to go into places of public accommodation and not be harassed or hassled or required to wear what people are calling face diapers? Absolutely, because it's not even safe. I mean, the medicine is not, it does not say wearing coronavirus is going to stop you from spreading the virus. No, it doesn't. In fact, what we're seeing is that dentists and oral hygienists and emergency rooms are seeing a huge uptick in mouth infections, bacterial infections, skin around the mouth infections, because people are wearing these stupid masks all day long, and they were never intended to be that way. If you look at the label of any of these things, they are so off label, it's not even funny. So we're worried about giving hydroxychloroquine off label to solve the whole coronavirus thing, but we're not worried about using these masks off label. I mean, it's off label or it's off label, right? But no, we're going to pick and choose what seems appropriate. Wait, picking and choosing. I'm pretty sure that's what our governor is doing with our state laws, right? No, I'm not down for any of that. I don't want you guys to give up hope. I am hopeful for how this is going to turn out with the decision that we've already, on the hearing we've already seen. But if it doesn't turn out that way, don't worry about it. Don't feel like that's the end. Don't listen to the legislature tell you that we're waiting for the court to give us permission to exercise our rights. Bull crap. Our rights are ours, given to us by God, not by them. If they don't want to exercise their rights, shame on them. They need to be removed from office. The fact that they're not out there on May 1st with megaphones and the press all around them and standing there saying, you know what? The law says these executive orders ended last night and the state of emergency is done. Everyone go back to your lives the way that we were doing things. We'll continue to figure out if there's something else we need to do. But as the law stands, there's no more executive orders. Shame on every single legislator that did not stand on the steps of the Capitol or go to the court of public opinion, if you will, and tell the media, sing it from the rooftops, that the governor had no right to do what she was doing. She had zero authority to do what she was doing. Every single legislator, every single anybody who's in government at all had not only the right to do that, they had the obligation to do that, because every single government official, from your small school board people all the way up, your city attorneys, your sheriffs, your police officers, your city council members, I don't care how small your community is or how big it is, I don't care what political party you're a part of, if you ever have participated as a government official, you have taken an oath of office. Why? Why do I know that? Because it is required under Article 6 of our U.S. Constitution and Article 11, Section 1 of our state constitution that you will uphold the U.S. and Michigan constitutions, and that's it. Our state constitution says you can't even take an oath of office that has any other requirements of you. Your oath says you're going to uphold the U.S. and Michigan constitutions, period. And if you're not doing your job because you're playing politics, then you need to go away. If you're not going to do your job because you're afraid of what people are going to say about you, you're afraid you're not going to get elected or reelected, you're afraid you're going to lose money, you're afraid you're going to lose your spot on committees because leadership told you that you couldn't go and participate in anything that had to do with freedom because you had to do it their way, shame on you. You were put into office to do a job. And guess what? We voted you in to do a job, and then you took an oath of office to do that job appropriately, which starts, above all else, with following the U.S. and Michigan constitutions. And if you're not there to do that 100% of the time, go home and don't come back. And I don't care if it's a small office or if it's a statewide office or if it's a United States office. Every single one of them took an oath of office to defend and support the U.S. Constitution. So that's where we're at with that. Don't stop fighting. I don't care what the Supreme Court says. If they say it next week, if they say it next month, if they say it next year, whatever the decision is, if they don't come out and fighting for freedom and fighting for our Constitution the way that they are obligated to, don't stop fighting. Hold them accountable. Absolutely hold them accountable. You can already hold Jane Markey, the judge from the Court of Appeals, one of those two that's responsible for denying what the legislature was requesting at the Court of Appeals level. She's up for election this November. Make sure you know who to vote for. I haven't looked into who the alternatives are, but you know not to vote for her. And maybe there's not even alternatives. Maybe we need to have a write-in candidate. I think enough people are ticked off that we could have a successful write-in candidate. How many people even pay attention to the office of judge in the first place? So if people are paying attention enough to vote for that office, then they're going to pay attention and know that that one is not one that you vote for. And no matter who we come up with as a write-in candidate, they're going to be successful over her. We just need to get this done. So yes, it's important to know what the Supreme Court is doing and how that decision is going to go out and how these other cases are going to pan out, but it's not the end all. None of this is. We're going to get our freedom back, and we're going to do it no matter what it costs, because that's what it took way back in the 1700s. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm not going to live in a socialist country. Are you? In fact, we're at Cabela's right now because we got to run in and see if they got any shipment of good handguns in at this point. So, was there any questions that you saw?
There's a ton. Nothing that really stands out except the one that says maybe do another video just answering the questions, which sounds like a good idea.
I'll tell you what. If one of you, my faithful followers here on these Facebook Lives, if one of you wants to be the one to record all of the questions that you see and you want me to answer them, then I will do my best to come back on either tonight or at some point this weekend. If you want to send me an email, all in one place of all those questions, to answer them point by point. So if somebody's willing to do that, more power to you. I can't access them from here. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that if you do Facebook Lives. I'm not a Facebook Live technology savvy individual myself, but that would at least consider moving to South Dakota. No, if anything, I'm moving to the beach of Florida. Sorry. So, let's see. Okay. So yeah, I will definitely be open to answering questions if you feel that in all the information that I just gave, if there's still questions out there, I can do that. If somebody wanted to put them all together, I can do that. Otherwise, as I do following videos, you guys know I always do my best to answer questions there, so you can always just save them up for the next video, however you guys want to do that. I actually, Linda, I actually ran for office. I'm actually the Republican nominee for Georgetown Township trustee. So, unlike the rumors that went out about me a month or two ago by an individual, I did not need to utilize a 70,000 person group to run for public office because the amount of registered voters in my area does not total 70,000. So, my area is small enough that some yard signs and some getting out and talking to people and some meet and greets is a way to win a race like that. But anyway, so run for governor. Hey, I told every single event I go to, not every single one, but almost every single event I go to, especially the ones at the Capitol, people have always asked me, you know, are you going to run for governor? And what I think it was July 4th, what I finally agreed to is that if you all really want me to run for governor, I'll make you this deal. You run the campaign. You guys campaign. You guys raise the funds. You guys get the word out there. You guys do whatever it takes in that regard. You tell me when the events are, or you tell Lori, who I assume would stay on with me as my events person. You tell me where to go, and I will go and I will speak with people all across the state, and I will participate in a governor campaign. I'm not running a campaign. I'm doing my best to get 425,059 signatures from all across the state, and that is exhausting and it's a lot of work. And that's what I'm willing to do for the people of Michigan in that regard. But if you guys want to run the campaign, if the people run the campaign, I will participate gladly. I think that's a good deal. I don't know. So, is that it?
That's it.
Well, it comes so fast. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know where to begin.
A voter guide. Okay, I see that as a question. I intend to, as soon as I get these two briefs written, my next mission will be to try to come up with some sort of voter guide for at least the statewide races that are on everybody's ballot. And then those two judges that were part of that decision with the Court of Appeals, I believe only one of them is up for re-election. So at least trying to find an alternative for that. But yeah, I will absolutely do my best to help people figure out who to vote for and who to not vote for. Absolutely. Okay, and when I do that, I will actually, I'll do a Facebook Live video about it to explain it because some people, like to hear things that way. I will also post it to our Facebook group, and I will also post it to our Facebook page, Restore Freedom with Catherine Henry, and our website, restorefreedomkh.com. So absolutely. All right. I will definitely go look to see if they have any good 9mm. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I have to get going. And like I said, if somebody's going to put together some of the questions that I didn't get answered for you guys tonight and wants to send those over to me in one big solid list, I will do my best to get on in the next 48 hours and provide answers to those questions. So thanks so much, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful night.